This is a summary of 3 rhetorical tricks used to manipulate the public. A much larger supply is in use in the media and university, and a few more will be covered in another video. But let's get in over our heads. Repetition. The main rhetorical device is repetition, and it's a simple one. Repeat anything more than once, and some people will believe it. Repeat it without challenge over many years, and the majority will be mesmerized by it and blind to the facts. It doesn't have to be factual or logical. It doesn't even have to make sense. Contrary information might rain from the sky and roam the land in herds. It all bounces off the skulls of people whose minds have been shaped by recording. One example is the free market, and this is pure fantasy. The real structure is the mixed economy, the most productive system on earth with a history going back to the ancient world. It isn't mentioned in the media or the university because the public can't be allowed to interfere with the economic planning of corporate lobbyists. Besides the old school recordings, there now are streaming services like Twitter and Instagram, and these are another breakthrough in crowd control. They brought corporate low culture from the TV and movie screen into every nook and cranny on earth. Witness people walking by, oblivious to the real world, and obsessed with the trash content selected by corporate algorithms. As it turns out, repetition is hypnosis, and the ability to deliver a canned message to millions is one of the greatest powers on earth. Repetition is the alpha and omega of modern crowd control. It works because the mind is a lump of wet clay and because educated speech is not allowed in corporate media. Suppression of facts or cooking the data. This is the counterpart to repetition. On the one hand are falsehoods repeated endlessly and without challenge. On the other is the exclusion of contradictory facts. Together, they define speech in the modern world. A subversion is cherry picking or selecting only the data that support a chosen viewpoint. A subversion is the anecdote. That's a stray item or video that pushes the public's buttons but leaves out inconvenient facts. Also known as a lie by omission, one example is the George Floyd video that excluded arrest statistics. Now there's coverage of the border crisis without mention that open borders has been fixed policy in both parties for 50 years and that the objective is to flood the country with cheap migrant labor, regardless of its effect on society. Both repetition and cherry picking are universal. Basically, every corporate news story is a half-truth in which key info is missing. Divide and conquer, aka the culture war. Next is the divide and conquer formula, and it's one of the most devilish schemes on earth with a history going back centuries. Most obvious is the hate spewing 24/7 on partisan cable. For those just joining us, that means Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. There also are feminism, critical race theory, conservative culture war, TV fundamentalism, corporate-sponsored wokeism, and corporate-sponsored anti-wokeism. These are fictional. They're built on cooked statistics, cherry-picked history, and bald-faced lies. They fly because they can't be challenged in corporate bandwidth. These are just a few of the deceptive methods in constant use in the media and university. They're toxic for society, but their objective is clear. By setting the public at each other's throats, they distract attention from the financial elite running the show, and worse, from the 8 class war policies that have stalled the economy over the last 50 years. Without understanding them, the public are puppets on the string of corporate propaganda. Everything is explained, including the class war policies, in the Big Book of Propaganda, now available on Amazon.